All right, I'm on hole number 6 of the Coast to Coast tournament. I'm in Monday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Let's go to hole number 6, big par 5 at Juniper Point. Juniper Point, hole number 5. I'm taking the straight overshot, trying to get out into this area right here. And ideally, you can do this with a Titan, but ideally you want to bring a Kingmaker, because depending on where you get. So okay, let's look at the shot. Your shot options. QB. Pretty much, I do this all the time in one-on-one play with a Marlin. You can go right out here. You can go right out to the middle of this island, 100% accurate club. Depending on the level of your QB, you may have to bring a bigger ball. You can get out of this area, straight up shot. It does help if you've got a wood that hits a little bit longer, just because if you're out here and you've got a Marlin, you may have a little bit of a red line issue right here. Especially if you got a sniper, if you got, a lower developed, or a Viper or something like that doesn't, well, you might be able to, with a zero power ball, you may have a little bit of a red line issue. If you bring a bigger ball, it will help you, because you will be able to get up deeper out here and you can come up. There's a hill right here, so you're hitting, like, here's the cup. The cup's kind of on a flat area, and then it rolls down like this. So when you're coming at it from this direction, you've got to deal with this hill, and your ball wants to drift to the left right at the very end of the run. So you got to have your speed just right in order to get to the cup without blowing past it. But you also have to have it, you have to account for the fact that it's going to drift as it gets towards the top of this hill, and it's going to move it to the left off the cup. In tournament play, I normally don't like to play that shot. What I normally do is I want to land out in here. And obviously, if you're closer to this side, you're better off, because this side opens up a little bit better to the green. You can still start off and you can use a little bit of side spin to bring it around. If you're over here, now you're having to hit it over the sand. Right in this area right here, if you get out to the right spot, you're in minimum short iron, or minimum wood, maximum long iron. And so if you had a Guardian, if you're getting out into a spot out here and you're like right on the cusp like that, it's not a bad idea to bring a Guardian in your bag as your wood. Because if you do find yourself kind of a little short and you're in your wood, you can get it done with a Guardian, where you may not be able to get it done with a sniper or something that doesn't have as much backspin. And I've made this Albie several times with a Guardian, where you just backspin it in there. I made it earlier today with my practice account with a Grizzly, going straight at it. Let's see here. Big Tapa. Big Tapa. Ideally a Kingmaker. That gives you all the options for side spin, and it cuts the wind down. Let's see if I have any more of those. Lucky balls. I don't think I do. So I will use a Kingmaker. The real deal. I'm going to bring my Big Tapa. And I'll bring my Guardian just in case. I'm going to bring a Grizzly. The whole goal is to try to get into the Grizzly range. Trying to get into Grizzly range and trying to do it without doing any overpower. So the drive shot here, it carries down in that hole a little bit farther. So if you're doing a wind adjustment on the drive shot, I would do, you definitely want to do an adjustment. You want to, because it falls down when it's going into that spot. So if you've got, let's say you take this with an extra mile and you're right up there towards the front, and we take 2 miles an hour wind out, which is 1 ring, you're going to want to take out a little bit more than that, because it does carry a little bit farther down in that hole. And that's the lucky ball I was looking for. I wish the Golf Clash would give you a wall of fame so that you could have a picture of every ball that you've ever had. So you don't have to, I have a lot of friends that like have one ball. So they have so many balls in their ball inventory, and they've got one of them because they want to save those balls so they can say that they had them. Max topspin. Let's get all that topspin on there. Hey, the wind at 2.2 is going to push me forward right there. And I'm barely going to get over. And you can see how much room I have down there. I mean, my blue rings are on my white ring is actually on the transition down there. So I have plenty of room. I'm going to leave the wind in. I'm going to put just a little teeny bit of overpower on it. Not a lot, but just a little. Hitting it perfect. Trying to get up there as far as I can. Get me in my long iron range. Almost 400. I'm not sure as far as distance down there where you need to get. That seems about right. I mean, I think my red line is going to be somewhere about where their Viper club is, right in there. It's going to be right in that neighborhood. So I'll have to use a little bit of topspin. Typically when I'm on this hole, I have to use a little bit of topspin on my long iron in order to guide it to the cup. And you can see that ridge, that little, where it drops off right there by the cup, what I'm talking about, right at the very end. Let's see if they got their adjustment right. So we can see it when it rolls up to the cup, how it kind of falls off to the left. Hit it perfect. Let's see if they got it right. Now their speed's off. They hit it through the brake. Got a pretty good distance here. I want to stay as far away from that sand on the, and I actually am close enough I can put some backspin on it. Going right at it. I'm going to do a 3 mile an hour. I'm just going to do a straight up wind adjustment, just 3 miles per hour. Trying to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. See if we can get it in the cup. Just a bit outside. Now my notes say that I should do a 10% wind adjustment on that, but I hit it earlier today and I didn't do, because I usually like to come out here and figure out for myself. I see the notes that go out in the community on, like, you know, hey, we're doing an elevation adjustment, and I write those numbers down and I circle them. So I know that the community is looking at doing some kind of an adjustment there, but I don't know where was that wind adjustment from the island, or was that wind adjustment for where I was at? Is it for when you're in your long iron, or is it for when you're in your wood? And so I have no idea where that 10%'s at, because I can tell you that if you're in, there's a lot of different places you could be out there. And I just have a hard time believing that it's always going to be the same no matter where you're at. So I always like to find that stuff out for myself. I hit it earlier today and got the Albie. And then came there and it looked like I needed to do about a 10% wind adjustment. So I'm unsure now. Now I'm confused, which isn't too hard. It's not too hard to confuse me. I'm definitely not wanting to shoot this hole. And that's about the same kind of wind that we're getting. It's not quite the same wind that we're getting, but it's pretty close. The last few times we played it, we've had a tailwind, and this time we're getting a headwind, blowing from the opposite direction. All right, that was hole number 6 of the Coast to Coast tournament and Monday's qualifying round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.